This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Danny's going to control the slides, but his audio is not working. So I'm Zane. I'm one of the PGY3s. We have our first full contingent of PGY4s, 3s, and 2s this year. I'm so excited to share what we've been doing at UF with you guys. Online, like Rosie said, we've got Rosie, also a PGY3, and Danny, a PGY2. Next slide, Danny. All right, so a little bit about our program. We're located in Gainesville, Florida, which is kind of north central Florida, for those of you that don't know, kind of between Jacksonville and Tampa, if you were to draw a straight line. We are a 3-year advanced program. As far as our faculty is concerned, we have 3 sports docs, 5 spine and pain docs, 1 pediatrics, 1 integrative, and then 3 general who are inpatient PM&R docs. We accept 4 residents per year, and fellowships that we have available are pain through our anesthesia program and our family med sports program. Next slide. So here's our PGY2s right here who just started with us, and we're happy to have them. We got Tobin, Kyle, Jake, and then Danny, who's online with us. And then here's Rosie, myself, Dave Kylish, and our PGY4s, the next slide. All right, so these are going to be our first graduates this year, our chiefs, Caroline and Sammy, and then Mike and Amy. Next slide. All right, so as far as our PGY2 year, it's all inpatient. So we have a partnership with Select. So it's half owned by Select, half owned by UF Shands. So we do our entire year at the inpatient hospital, and we get a lot of exposure to a lot of pretty cool, complex cases. UF Shands has one of the best transplant hospitals in the country. So we see a ton of liver, kidney, heart transplants, as well as LVADs, TBIs, spinal cord injuries, a lot of amputees and critical illness myopathies. We currently have 3 inpatient attendings. We just had a couple leave for family issues. So we're in the process of hiring a 4th right now. Next slide.
All right, and then in PGY 3 and 4, we get the pleasure of going to a longitudinal curriculum. So the longitudinal curriculum is basically split up in 1-week blocks. So first week 1 is sports, week 2 is EMG and spine, week 3 is general PM&R, TBI, integrative medicine, and week 4 we do peds and consults. Every week you have 1/2 day of research, which is great. You get to we'll talk a little bit more about our research program, but top notch. All right, next slide. And these are some of our pictures of our clinic rotations. You'll spend most of the time in this like UF Health OSME, like Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. That's where our sports medicine is. And that's where some of our spine guys will sometimes have clinic as well. And then for the procedures that are spine procedures, you're in the Comprehensive Spine Center and Neuromedicine Institute. And then for the general PM&R outpatient kind of and EMG, you're at UF Health Spring Hill. And we have traumatic brain injuries that is like once a month that you spend at FIXL. All right, next. And then we have electives. So during your first year, during your PGY3 year, you have up to 1 month. And during your PGY4 year, you have up to 2 months. So this includes things like integrative medicine, running medicine, sports performance center, which is great, pain medicine, or any away rotation. So I'm actually planning on doing an away rotation over at UCSD in pain management. but you can set it up and do it anywhere. Our PGY4 senior, Caroline Fryer, she actually did some cool stuff with the gymnastics US Olympics teams. So lots of opportunities there. Just depends on your preference. All right, next slide. And here's some of the unique experiences that we kind of offer. This UF Health Sports Performance Center, the running medicine clinic, dance medicine clinic, integrative medicine, you don't get at a ton of programs, and we have the UF Health throwing clinic. So basically, if you love sports and if you love integrative medicine, plenty of opportunities. Sorry, back to Zane.
All right, yeah, so we have an official announcement coming up later this month, but we are proud to announce that we are going to be a partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Medical Network. So a lot of cool opportunities to come through that. Next slide. So a little bit about the day and the life. So as a PGY2, all inpatient, so you generally start between 7:30 and 8, kind of depending on how efficient you are with pre-charting and kind of what attending you're working with at that time. And as far as the end of your day, generally we ended between 3 and 5. So the hours are really not bad. Rolling admissions generally start around 10:30 and they can kind of trickle in until about 5. And then there's a hard cutoff where if anyone comes in after 5, you'll just see them the next day. You just write orders, prep the note, and they'll be good to go the next day.
And on the outpatient side of things, we generally start at like 7:40 or to 8:40. It kind of depends on the clinic. And you end by 4 or 5 p.m. Generally, the last patient is at 4 or 4:20. Our didactics day is now Wednesdays from 8 to 11 a.m. And then after that, you would go to the rehab if you were PGY2, or you go to your rotations as a PGY3 or 4. So that means usually you have like a 2-hour break where you can go to the gym or something like that. Call is from home. Depends on your preference. You may like it, you may hate it. It's actually pretty easy. That you may get like 0 to max I've had is like 5 calls in one night. And I've never had to go in. It runs for 1 week, starting Friday in the afternoon. On Saturday morning, you kind of go in, you round on all the patients, and then you'll have up to 4 admissions. And on Sunday, you'll round on the active patients, anyone who's like kind of having problems that night, any of the admissions from the day prior, and you may get up to 4 admissions. Your call weeks, your 9 weeks during PGY2 year, 3 weeks during PGY3 year, and 1 week during your PGY4 year. So decreasing responsibility there. All right, now research. We have 2 full-time research faculty. If you ever look up my name, I've done a ton of research. This is probably the easiest and smoothest moving research time that I've had in my entire research career of almost 10 years. Variety of topics are available. We have inpatient rehab outcomes. The MSK health and sports medicine is absolutely amazing. They're doing a lot of stuff on lacrosse and running medicine and all this stuff where you're like, I didn't know I could have access to that. And then there's osteoarthritis research and there's spine pain management, including stuff like horticulture therapy, which I didn't know that existed, for example. All of us in PGY3 year, we've all presented posters and abstract at 1 or more conferences. Some of us have published, and of the current PGY4s, all have published at least 1 manuscript. We make it as painless as possible to do research, so even if you hate it, don't worry, we got this. Okay.
All right, so a little bit about our benefits. So we do get Gator Care. It's health insurance provided free of cost through the University of Florida College of Medicine. And we also get $500 of Gator Bucks every 6 months. So you can use that at any of the facilities at Shands. And there's a few other locations kind of scattered throughout Gainesville you can use it at. As far as like our education fund, we get $1,750. And you can use that towards memberships to different societies, going to conferences when you're going to present, books, learning materials, and even scrubs. And here is our salary chart, which considering the cost of living in Gainesville is actually pretty good when you compare it to other programs across the country. So as an advanced program, you come in as a level 2, and you can see the salary there and what you would make biweekly. As far as leave, so we're given 3 weeks of vacation a year, so 15 vacation days in total. You can use them all at once if you want. You can spread them out as you like. So a couple of our residents traveled to Europe last year for a couple of weeks at a time. So there's really no limits as to how you use that. They just kind of ask during your inpatient year that at least 3 of you are there for extended periods. We're also gifted 10 sick days, so you can use them for doctor's appointments or, if other stuff comes out, if you've got kids, whatever it may be, you can use those personal days. We also are given 5 conference days. So I think our entire PGY3 class is going to AAPM&R in New Orleans this November, which we're pretty stoked about. It should be a good time. And then also per the new ACGME guidelines, we're given up to 6 weeks of parental leave. All right, as far as application requirements, you can see all the requirements there. So your typical, photo, CV, letters of rec, your med school diploma, personal statement, all that good stuff, and just make sure to get it into through ERAS, and everything else should be good to go. And if you have any questions regarding that whole process, feel free to reach out to our program coordinator, Tara. So a little bit about Gainesville. I mentioned it earlier. We're in between Jackson and Tampa. Also, Orlando is only 2 hours away. So you've got 2 really big international airports between Tampa and Orlando with a lot of direct options. And even Jax actually has a lot of direct options too, if you like to travel. Plenty to do in Florida. If you like the water's not far away. In Gainesville, we've got a lot of springs. We've got a lot of floating rivers. There's cave diving. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can get into if that's your thing. And obviously the beach isn't too far away. Most people go to the East Coast for the beach, kind of between Palm Coast, Daytona area, up to St. Augustine is also a popular area to go, which is actually the oldest city in the US. If you haven't been, it's a pretty cool town. I went to college in Tampa, so I spent a lot of time down there. Also a great area. Clearwater's got great beaches. St. Pete's great. As far as Gainesville in itself, it's a college town, as you might know. Go Gators. So tailgating is always a good time. For the football games, you got all the other college athletics. The downtown actually has a lot of good food options, and the cost of living, like I said, is pretty good. So your money goes a long way. Drinks are cheap, and food's really not bad. Next slide. As far as housing, just kind of depends what you're looking for. So I'm married. I've got a little girl. So we live in the Hale Plantation area. There's another area called Tioga, which have some newer developments, nice new houses. If you want to be kind of more close to the action, downtown, midtown is the place to be. Plenty of apartments everywhere with this being such a huge university. A lot of affordable options. A few of our residents actually live in the Bartram apartments, which are very nice, and it's really close. It's between the rehab hospital and Shands. It's probably one of the nicer apartment complexes in the town. Here's a few pictures of just some good times that we've had. Us at a baseball game in the top left. In the center there, you can see one of the lakes that we have in the Gainesville area. Out back of one of our popular restaurants called Chopsticks. You can see Rosie enjoying kayaking on one of the springs. A lot of manatees and gators and cool nature stuff that you're probably not exposed to in the rest of the country. And then there's our entire residency class down in the bottom right corner with our new PGY2s. That was our welcome party that our associate program director was kind enough to host us at.
5 minutes remaining.
And that really wraps up what we have to say today. You can see our Instagram handle there in the bottom left corner. And now we just kind of want to open up the floor to any questions that you guys might have.
All right, I got asked one in a personal chat for IMGs. Yes, we do accept IMGs. I am in fact one of them, and one of the PGY4s is as well. So do you prefer DO applicants to have taken the USMLEs? we have a lot of DO people.
Yeah, I
One
don't
in the
think it
PGY,
matters.
yeah. So I'm not sure. I don't think anyone has had to take both USMLE and Comlex. We do have like we do look at both, but it's not a requirement.
What else you guys got? Yeah, for sports sideline coverage. So we have a lot of local high schools that we have contracts with in the area. I myself, I'm still doing the Navy reserves. I did the whole Navy scholarship thing. So I'm going to be kind of in and out quite a bit. So I'm just doing floating coverage this fall, but there's a lot of opportunities as far as sports sideline coverage is concerned. And we've got two really well-known sports attendings that are very well known throughout the sports community, ACSM, AMSSM. So if you're into sports, I think it's definitely a good program to consider. And as far as students rotating our program, yeah, we do accept rotating students. Just email Tara. I think her email was on one of the previous slides. Danny, if you can go back a few. If you email her, and then there is I think a general application online for visiting students to fill out.
Zane, I think I put her email in the chat.
Okay, cool. There it is. Yeah, you can see her email there in the bottom.
I got asked in a private chat, is there a system for research mentoring? There is. There's actually a system for both clinical and research mentoring. We have two big researchers, Dr. Heather Vincent and Dr. Kim Sabile. Heather Vincent is focused more on PM&R and sports, whereas Dr. Sabile is more pain side of things. So they will hold your hand through every paper. I think Zane can attest to that.
This is true. I'm not a big research guy, and they've already helped me get an abstract submitted to ACSM. So I presented a poster and working on a manuscript now, as well as a couple of other projects. So they really kind of drag you along, even if you aren't the biggest researcher like me.
2 minutes left.
As far as didactics being available virtually, no, we have in-person didactics at the Orthopedic Sports Medicine Institute. That is something that we could look into maybe offering if we did have some medical student interest, or applicants that aren't able to schedule an away rotation. Yeah, that's something that we could talk to our program about. Are you asking for the attendings emails, the research coordinators? Yeah. If you reach out to our coordinator there at the bottom, she'd be able to get you in touch with both Dr. Heather Vincent and Dr. Sabile. That's probably the best way. Their emails might be listed on the faculty page as well, if you look at them up. Or just, yeah, email Rosie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I'll share my email in the chat. I have some other opportunities for medical students and such, because I'm involved in 50 different things, so whatever you need.
Yeah, for any questions that you guys think of later on, feel free to reach out to us through our emails. Our emails are listed on the website. If you just Google UF PM&R residents, it's got our contact information on there.
Thank you so much to UF for a wonderful presentation this evening and for closing us out. Applicants, please collect any emails from the chat. We'll be closing the room in the next 2 minutes. And again, thank you to UF.
Thank you for organizing.
Yeah, thanks, guys.